So if we were using the simplex method by hand, minimization problems would be different from maximization problems. Not very different. There's just one quick trick that you can use to convert it. But for us, since we're using a program, we're skipping the simplex method. It's pretty much just going to be the same. But when we go over and, type in our problem, well, we're not going to write maximize anymore. I'll tell you that much. Okay. So this is pretty much the same for us. Example 3. A company is creating a meal replacement bar. They plan to incorporate peanut butter, oats, and dried cranberries as the primary ingredients. The nutritional content of 10 grams of each kind is listed below, along with the cost in cents. Oh, in cents, okay, of each ingredient. Find the amount of each ingredient they should use to minimize the cost. We don't care about taste here. We don't care about taste. This is a meal replacement bar, okay? Not a Happy Meal. Just give us what we need to survive. I don't care if it tastes like garbage. All right. So we want to minimize the cost. Oh, wait, hold on. Minimize the cost containing a minimum of 15 grams of each ingredient. Oh, okay. So each one of these has to be at least 15 of each ingredient. I don't know how I want to write that yet. I'm just going to write that down somewhere. And at least 10 grams of protein. At most, 14 grams of fat. All right. Cool. So what are we trying to do? Trying to minimize the cost. What's the cost? Oh, I jumped the gun. What are our variables? Find the amount of each ingredient they should use. That's the variables. Okay. Now you've got a couple options here. Let's use P, O, and C. Okay. So let's let P. Should P be how many grams of peanut butter we use? Oh, let's not use P, O, and C. We're using C for cost. We'll just use X, Y, and Z. Why not? Should X be how many grams or how many chunks of 10 grams? That's up to you. We'll get to the same answer. We might have different numbers, but when we interpret our answer, it'll be the same. All right, let's say, let's see. Let's have it in grams. See what that looks like. X be grams of peanut butter. Y is going to be the grams of oats. And Z is going to be the grams of cranberries. Crayons. Those little marker things. Does anyone say crayons? Like crayons? Crowns, depending on who you are, where you're from. Anyway, so this is what we're minimizing the cost. So what is the cost? I'm going to write down this is wrong. And even before I finish, it's wrong. Why is it wrong? So peanut butter, 10 grams costs 6 cents. But if X is just how many grams, each gram must cost 0.6 cents. Okay, so watch out here. It depends on how you set up the problem. If you had X be how many 10 grams we use, then your C function's different. So it just depends on how you formulate your problem. So C is going to be 0.6 cents for every gram of peanut butter, plus 0.1 cent for every gram of oats, plus 0.2 cents for every gram of cranberries. That's what we're trying to minimize. Now we have a bunch of constraints. We need the right amount of protein, we need the right amount of fat, and we need at least 15 grams of each one. All right, so let's see. Let's set up our equation, our constraints, right? This is subject to these constraints. All right, and so let's have one for protein. Have one constraint for fat. And then some constraints for, quantity. How much of each? I think that's everything that we need. All right, so protein. We're going to have 2.5 grams of protein for every 10 grams of peanut butter. That's going to be 0.25 for every gram, right? If X is 10, if we're using 10 grams, we have 2.5. That checks out. And then similarly, it's going to be plus 0.17 for every gram of oats. Plus, okay, we don't need to write a plus. There's no protein in cranberries, apparently. We need that to be at least 10 grams. So you can kind of see here that at this point, it's a little annoying that I chose X to be how many grams of protein. It would have been a lot easier so far if I let X be how many chunks of 10 grams of protein. Our choice will be a little nicer than the alternative later on, but right now it kind of sucks. You have multiple options when you set up these problems though. But just like life, you make a decision and you live with the consequences. But this will be fine. So fat. Well, we have 5 grams of fat for every 10 grams of peanut butter. That's going to be half a gram for every gram of peanut butter. 50% of peanut butter is just directly fat. That's what that translates to. All right. And then, all right, so it's going to be 0.07 grams of fat for a gram of oats and 0.01 gram of fat for every gram of cranberries. And we need the fat content to be no more than 14. Oh, so one's a greater than sign, one's a less than sign. That's fine. All right, and then we do need 15 grams of each ingredient. So the grams here, at least 15. Grams here, at least 15. Grams here, at least 15. Oh, so that one's kind of nice. All right, let's double check that we've incorporated everything. All right, nutritional, cost, in cents. Great. I'm going to remind myself that this is cents because I know I'm going to forget. Cost of producing a bar, a minimum of 15 grams of each ingredient, at least 10 protein, at most 14 fat. Yeah, I think we got that. Great. So this is our linear program. Okay. Where again, these are what our variables are. Let's solve it. We'll go over to our handy dandy little solver and wherever that is. Again, if you forget what you should be typing in, hit the example button. We're trying to minimize the cost, which was 0.6x plus 0.1y plus 0.2z. Subject to the constraints, 0.25, 0.17, less than or equal to 10, oh, greater than or equal to 10. There was no z here. And then 0.5, 0.07, and 0.01. I can't remember that many things. 0.5, 0.07. And then 0.01z and less than or equal to 14. Then everything is at least 15. All right, let's solve it. Ooh. So we got some fractions now. That's okay, hopefully. C is the cost in cents. So let's write this down. Okay. Our C is going to be 15.6765. Let's not worry about rounding just yet. X is 15. Y is going to be 36.7647. Z is 15. So in reality, like rounding technically matters here. We don't always round up or always round down. But for this class, because again, like technically if you round a certain way, it could push you over the edge. Like if you were equal to one of these, and you rounded the wrong way, it might push you over the edge. I'm not going to worry too much about it in this class. And I think the homework is consistent with this. You can let me know if you have any questions. We'll for this problem, let's just not worry about rounding, and then I'll talk about rounding in a future problem. So the minimum cost is about 16 cents. And again, we have the exact answer right above here. So if we really wanted more precision, we do see that right there. About 16 cents, and it comes with 15 grams. Oh, sorry, 15.6765 grams of peanut butter. About 36, oh my goodness, I can't read. It is 15. It was 15 grams of peanut butter. X is 15. 36.7647 grams of oats. And 15 grams of cranberries. That is our meal replacement bar. That is our answer here. Okay. And then like if you rounded, you could do some checks to make sure everything checked out. I'm not going to check them this time to make sure that things make sense, because it's a lot of calculations, but you could. It's a good habit to be in. Rounding can make some weird things happen, but I think on the homework I've taken care of that for you, and it's not something I'm going to be worried about on my own either. Let me know if you have any questions on this one. Again, you can see that a minimization problem was really just the same as a maximization problem. We just changed this to the word minimize. But there you have it. Good luck. Have fun.